Do you have the ability to stare at a blank wall and not panic, not crack up? Can you look at a blank calendar and not get scared? If you're going to be a successful freelancer, you need to have the ability to do that. You have to be a self-starter. And that's the problem some people have when they enter the freelance business, is they're used to being told what to do. They might be reliable, hardworking, honest, ethical, but they are reactive. If you're going to make it in this business, you have to be proactive. You can't just wait for the phone to ring. Now, ideally, if you've done all the things we've talked about in the earlier sections, your phone is ringing, and it's ringing a lot with quality prospects, and you're getting work, and you're getting paid. But also, if you've done what I've suggested so far, you've charged them enough that you're making plenty of money, and yet there's still going to be times on your calendar, weeks, sometimes a month, let's say August, not much there. What are you going to do? So you need a system in place for how you spin straw into gold, essentially. How do you go from nothing? No calls, no coworkers necessarily. You're home alone. You've got your computer, your laptop, your iPad, whatever it is. How do you actually do something productive? You've got to figure that out. Every business is different. For some, you may be better off out networking. If you're an artist, you may be better off attending galleries and openings and meeting people constantly in your particular city. Other businesses, you're better off creating new product. If you're a software engineer, maybe you're better off designing your own apps, and 1 out of 10 takes off and sells well, and the other 9, well, you honed your skill. For a lot of people, the time is better off spent creating new products, creating books, creating online courses. In fact, this is why I'm doing this right now. I've already had my vacation. It's the time between Christmas and New Year's in 2017. Already had a nice ski vacation. It's the Friday going into New Year's. It's so cold out, I didn't have anything else to do, and I decided to use my time by sharing my expertise and in creating an entire online course. What are you going to do when you're looking at a blank day? There's nothing on your calendar. I do recommend that you have several set procedures. So, for example, I use a Google Calendar. I set up alerts for myself. So at 6:50 a.m., I'm sent an alert saying that at 7 a.m., several things need to have happened. I need to have taken my daily post, which I blog, my video, my blog, it's already there, it's been put on, and I have to then share that on LinkedIn, Facebook, Pinterest, several other social media. I could automate that, but I want to actually use this as a time to check to make sure everything is on my website as I want it to be. So it's a way of checking. Then it's just a few clicks. So that's one thing I do right away. Another thing I do, I open up a Google Docs and I create one topic for a new public speaking training tip. I may only spend 30 seconds on it, but I'm going to think about it. Every day, it's an amazing discipline. It gets me started off just right. Next, I go to one or more of my online course providers and I check and see how sales went. It's just kind of a nice upbeat thing, and I see if there are any comments left. It only takes a minute or two. And I look at the reviews. But every day, the first thing I see is sales that have come in, who's purchased. Ideally, it's a dozen or more. And it's a nice sort of way to get the day going and make me feel upbeat, and to see actual responses from customers. So these are things I do every single day. I also check the Google ads to see how many impressions I've gotten from my Google ads. I also see how many clicks and what I paid in the last day. So these are all things I do every day. By 7 a.m., or certainly by 7:05, I do that 7 days a week. You may decide you're better off completely doing nothing work-related Saturday or Sunday, or you may want to take 3-day weekends up and not even think about it. That's up to you. I'm not asking you to follow my routine. What I am asking you for is to have a routine. The one thing that is pretty much true of any wildly successful novelist or wildly successful writer, you ask them, how do you do this? How do you get your inspiration? How do you get in the mood to write? They basically all say the same thing. I get up, I pour coffee, I eat some breakfast, and I'm seated in front of my word processor or my typewriter by 8 a.m. And I don't stop writing until I either have 5 pages or 5,000 words or a chapter. And they treat it like a business, almost like a Fred Flintstone punching the time clock. They treat it like a serious business. They don't wait for inspiration. They don't just go for a walk for 4 hours every morning. They sit down, they start typing. I'm suggesting you have a routine too of what do you actually do. Something I do every day. Sometimes it's in the morning, sometimes in the afternoon. I go through my database every single day. And I see who has asked me to call them today. Who's a good client and I haven't talked to in a while, and I talked to them 3 months ago, and I put in my database to call them in 3 months, and lo and behold, their name pops up as just say hello, or ask if they've done any speeches or media interviews lately, and ask them to send me a video. It's not always about, hey, remember me, hire me. It's just staying in touch, asking how they're doing, wishing them a happy new year sometimes, or a happy birthday. So there's a set process. So I'm never just getting up saying, wow, no trainings today. What could I possibly do? Let me just sit around and panic and worry about starving. It's never like that. There's always plenty of things to do. Now, you don't want to waste time. You don't want to just spin your wheels. You don't want to just be on Twitter for 7 hours talking to people about your stuff and it just goes nowhere. You want to have some metric to give you a sense that you're being productive. I can't tell you what that is for you. What I can tell you is you shouldn't get up each day and start from scratch of a process. You need a set process, a procedure of how you're going to use your time. That's the only way you're going to make it as a successful freelancer in the long run.